Alrighty, g'day again. We're taking a look at some of the most interesting recent posts, or hot posts, you could say, in Australia on the internet. Let's take a look. So there's probably not going to be as much of a theme as I might usually do on one of these episodes, but just take a look at hot posts when you type in Australia. So first of all, let's click on this. Royal National Park in New South Wales, Australia. Damn. There's literally, it seems like a million natural beauties you could see in Australia, and I have not seen this one. Sure enough, look at it. That is crazy. What is that? It's like a natural little hot tub looking thing. This feature here anyway. It's a great photograph, by the way. Coming here since I was a kid to a family shack. Tourists have destroyed the sea life. Oh no. And these rock pools, they used to be so beautiful. Wow. How deadly is this place being that it's Australia and all? The real question foreigners love to ask, right? There have been 128 recorded fatal drownings. Oh, geez, in this national park between 1901 and the beginning of January 2021. So not overly dangerous, but with an average of just over one fatality per year, like any part of the Australian coastline, still worthy of respect. And of course, there are also the snakes to think about. Yeah, that's right. I was there about 45 years ago and found a blue-ringed octopus in that pool. Be careful. Holy smokes. Wow. Really crazy, cool place, though. 120-year-old Wolfram Mines, Australia. Hey, anyone that explores mines, I think you're crazy. It is just not my thing at all. It seems so sketchy, but you know what? I respect it. If you want to do that, damn. There you go. Anyone visited this? I won't be. Anyone a fan of liminal spaces? If you don't know what that is, it's basically like these spaces. Let's see what it says. It's a time between what was and the next. It's a place of transitioning, waiting, and not knowing. So basically what I think it is like spaces that people seem that reminds them of like places they think they've been in like dreams or like some sort of unconscious state, right? They're just kind of like these weird, lifeless, but oddly familiar, strange areas. It's kind of fun. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. This one is recently posted in liminal spaces from Surfer's Paradise, Australia. And I have to say, I may have seen more liminal spaces in this, but it definitely still qualifies as one. I can kind of get that vibe from this because there's no one in this picture at all, by the way. So it's kind of interesting. A little ominous, if you will. Anyone been to this location? Do you know it? That's what I'm more interested in. I always love when people are like, hey, that's near me. That's at so-and-so, or I've been there. All right, we have a renovated 1950s brick workers cottage in the high country, Victoria, Australia. This is in a room subreddit for pleasant-looking rooms, I guess. And I have to say, this is actually a pretty cool-looking room. Let's look at it full screen, shall we? Look at that in all its glory. See if we can zoom in. It only lets us zoom in just a tad. You can see all their books. That's different. I'm not a room person, so I don't really study rooms, but maybe this is like common. I'm not sure. I personally have never seen books kind of just free stacked like that. It's kind of interesting. Also, looks like as someone with kids, somewhat of a nightmare because that would not be standing very long. But you know what? The way this room opens up into this outdoor area is gorgeous. Of course, I don't know what they're thinking because what could crawl in there? God knows what. I mean, you're in Australia. This is really cool. I love this circular window and, of course, the brickwork around it. Yeah, this is a vibe. This is very cool. I just can't get over the stack of books, though. I just feel like that's, maybe that's an aesthetic to go for. I just feel like it's terribly impractical. Of course, you have a sunrise in Cronulla. Cronulla or Cronulla? No, it's probably Cronulla Beach, Australia. And that is indeed a beautiful sunrise. Nice shot. Found at a beach in South Australia. My daughters and I love the beach. We went out Monday, our time due to school holidays. And while we were there, we always collect cool shells. Cool shells. Sorry, not shelves. Learn how to read. This one was an abalone shell. You can see where it had barnacles before it washed up on the shore. Best find along with a full razor clam shell. Now, I don't know much about shells, but I will say that is a good find. I have collected shells at beaches before. Not much, but I have. And I can say with my very unknowledgeable opinion, that's a good looking shell. And here from an E46 BMW forum, we have country drives with a bushfire. Of course, this is in Australia. Interesting photos they make, that's for sure. Although bushfires are not to be messed around with. They do suck, don't they? And unfortunately, Australia has quite a bit of them. But an interesting picture nonetheless. I'm not a big BMW guy, but that's a sharp car. Especially this era of BMW is definitely better than modern Beamers, in my opinion. Of course, sticking on the vehicle route, we have only in Australia you see this many LCs, which sadly we don't have here in the U.S., not quite like this. But I do know from my Australian education I've gotten over the years that stands for Land Cruisers. Yeah, these are awesome. And most people watching this, if you're in Australia, you're just like, what's the big deal? I see those every day. That's the point. As an American, we're drooling when we see these. These Australian spec Land Cruisers, the way these are built, are just too freaking cool. They're so rugged and durable and tough. Oh, I just love it. Well, someone thinks that this is a python because it was climbing trees. They need a snake ID. They need to ID this thing. This is from Queensland, Australia. So any snake experts out there, maybe let me know what it is. Just because I'm curious. Of course, I wouldn't know. We'll get you a zoomed in view here. It is definitely a snake, and it is definitely up in a tree, and I would be terrified. And, the only comments say that they don't think it's a python, but it's a common tree snake. That guess is better than any guess I would have. Trump looking into legality of deporting U.S. citizens who commit violent crimes, says White House. Oh my God, Trump. Transportation, that's what the British called this when their convicts were transported to Australia as punishment. Well, guys, maybe this is my ticket. Down under. I'll be right back. I'm kidding. I had to. This can't be real, right? Oh, man. Whew. And look at Australia getting credit from the European Union forum saying we need to create a labeling system like Australia's, replacing the kangaroo with EU symbol, of course. And this is something I've always admired from Australian products we've gotten through Mailtime and whatever, right? It's so cool. It's one of the first things I noticed and, always pointed out in older videos. I think that is so cool and should be standard everywhere. Why doesn't everywhere use this? And it's especially funny because it's always been a theme, and even right now, right? Like Made in America, like American pride is so massive, right? Why isn't this a thing in the U.S.? Why don't we have Made in America from whatever, and it tells, how really American it is? It's not a thing, only on certain products, like big products. Now, of course, when you go look at the Monroney, which is like the window sticker for a brand new car, it has to, by law, say how much of that car is, made in America and where the parts come from. But like, I'm talking just regular everyday products. It's not a thing. And it is in Australia, because I totally recognize this, and I'm sure all of you do as well. I think this is so cool, and you guys are getting notoriety from across the world. I think that's awesome. Wow, look at that. A white-bellied sea eagle, New South Wales, Australia. Great shots. That is so cool. Birds, especially eagles, so majestic. That is awesome. This is from the Clouds Forum. This is from a day ago in Australia. Wow, lots of different clouds. Holy smokes. Some interesting ones, though, I have to say. Look at these ones, right? These like tiger stripes in the sky. course, epic sunsets. This one's pretty cool because it's like blue sky, and then you have some thick layer clouds into almost rain clouds or gray, and then a rainbow just kind of jutting right out to the earth. That's a cool shot for sure. There's a lot of depth to this one. The Three Sisters in the Blue Mountains, New South Wales. I think we all know this. This is an amazing, famous place, right? Famous, area, geologic feature. Yeah, beautiful. So beautiful. Good from any angle, any lighting, and it's right up my alley. I love stuff like this in nature. Dude, so cool. When was the last time you were in the Blue Mountains? Gotta let me know. Hopefully, I'll see you there one day. A giant grasshopper nymph, Gold Coast, Australia. Wow. That's a cool picture. Look at the detail on this guy. Wow. That is a great photo. Look at those eyes, man. What a cool pattern on him, right? This lime jelly green with these dark stripes. Dude, nature, Australian nature is incredible. Octopus very interested in my buddy's yellow gloves. Clifton Gardens, Sydney, Australia. Look at this. Oh, that is like an alien. It is like super attracted to those yellow gloves. Interesting. It's not that big. I thought it was big, but it's not once you see the scale, right, of that guy's arm, but how weird would that be? Oh. Octopuses are just otherworldly to me. All right, I'm showing you this just so I can show you the comments. It's actually legendary. So it starts out, you picture Vegemite here. My friend made me buy this during my trip to Australia, but refused to accept it when he tasted it. So imagine asking for this. So, you bring it to them and they're like, yeah, never mind, right? But the comments are better because Australians are just Australians. We had Australian exchange students one time, and one gave me a spoonful of this saying it tasted just like Nutella. It did not taste like Nutella. Yeah, I can totally picture an Australian doing that, and whoever's on the receiving end of that. Oh my goodness, do I feel bad for you. It is not Nutella. What are these two, and what are they up to? This is Victoria, Australia. As you can see, they're up to something. They're males having a tussle. I love Australians. They're males having a tussle. They both have obvious palpable bulges, and frankly, Spider Sexy Time doesn't look like that. Well, I didn't know. Thanks for clarifying. Imagine catching this on camera. Wow. Once upon a time in Australia, snakes fighting to death and a dog eating a shark. Now that is an Australian meme, if I ever saw one. And another awesome meme from down under, US. Yeah, that'll be $3,000 for your 2-minute ambulance ride. Meanwhile, in Australia, yeah, I can fly you 2,000 kilometers for some blood work. I could go on forever with these. That was absolutely legendary. We're gonna end it with that one for sure. Damn. So true. The Royal Flying Doctors, remember the air service? It is so freaking awesome. And meanwhile, over here, can ride in the outdated ambulance and get charged thousands of dollars. Good luck. You got bills coming. Oh, man. What a difference. What a difference. Wow. I hope you found that enjoyable at my expense. I appreciate you watching. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker. Until next time, y'all. Catch you later.